new movie review is myself, George, and tonight I'm joined by Tate. Now, we have a very special review. We have the review of Knives Out, the new film by Rian Johnson. But what's more special than this film, not many things are, is the fact that we have just come back from, what, 5 day stint at London Film Festival?
I think I was there for six days, maybe. It's been really long. Let's just say that.
Yeah, we've both been there as well. Chris couldn't join us, but we're looking forward to next year to get all three of us there together. We've seen a lot of films, hence not much content coming up on the channel because we were staying there as well. We didn't have the resources to be able to get these reviews together. So we're both back. We may be going back on Sunday for The Irishman. But this is the first of our sort of a big content. Now, this is arguably the, I'm going to say, second biggest film at the festival. What I do want to say before I jump into this, I've already timed it wrong. We've got a lot of content, as I've said. We've got reviews for, some of the films we can say, Le Mans 66, obviously Knives
Out,
Lighthouse, Peanut Butter Falcon, there's Just Mercy, Irishman. There are so many films between us we've been able to see. We've got a lot of content coming your way, and if you haven't already seen it, we had our first interview go up on our YouTube channel this week. This was with Willem Dafoe and Robert Eggers. This was at the premiere of The Lighthouse, so we're very fortunate to get press accreditation at 4 premieres. We only got interviews at 3 of them, but obviously one of them is online. We will have more content coming your way, and we've got Marriage Story interviews and interviews from Greed, not Creed. So there's going to be a lot of London Film Festival content. We're going to have a playlist as well as the normal reviews, so stick with us. You're going to get a lot of content from us over the next fortnight, but we're going to kick things off with Knives Out. Obviously, for those new here, we've gone to our sort of shorter review routines. This doesn't come out until I believe, mid-November, both in America and England. So one of the big things with the festival is that we are essentially seeing these films early. They've obviously premiered at sort of Toronto. There's some of them would have been at Venice and whatnot, but this is the sort of first time sort of the UK audiences have been able to see some of these films. So these are very early reviews. And it's actually really exciting because normally we get our reviews out not late, but sometimes America, when it's Oscar season, America will get it 3 months before us.
But tables have turned now. Now we've actually managed to get ourselves, I guess, a little bit of a foot in the door in the film world. And for me, at least, it was my first festival, and I thought it was an absolutely fantastic experience. Would love to do it again, and we'll be aiming to do it again next year. But I guess we should probably start talking about the film itself.
Definitely. So, for those that don't know, Knives Out is Rian Johnson's new film, his first film since The Last Jedi, Please Don't Cry, and it is a murder mystery whodunit film. Films that we do not get an awful lot of anymore. And if we do, it's another reboot of
Poirot. Yeah, it's going to be Poirot, or the ones that I always used to go back to is like Clue and everything like that. But yeah, you've obviously got the reboot of the Poirot mysteries starring Kenneth Branagh with the all-star cast. I know they're doing a Death in the Nile one as well. I've seen the cast. That looks pretty good as well. This, however, is a very different beast to behold because this is a completely brand new kind of idea for the whodunit film and everything like that. It's a completely brand new murder mystery and everything like that. I thought it was fantastic. Just straight off the bat, I absolutely loved it. It was probably my joint favorite of the festival that I saw. I don't think there was a single moment where I didn't have a massive smile on my face. I absolutely loved the acting performances. I loved just the story that it was told. The flow of the film was excellent. Just literally everything about it.
It's the same here. This was one of my most anticipated films of the year. I think what goes with Ryan, he's directed episodes of Breaking Bad, some of the best episodes of Breaking Bad, may I say, Star Wars, Loop. I've not seen Brick, but when the concept came of this is going to be an original whodunit film, we don't really get them anymore. And the key with this is the writing, because ultimately, a whodunit film, they're not ABC. This one kind of followed, but went its own way. You think, oh, here we go, traditional story, and then it throws you in the first third like, oh, here we go, we're already going to change. Here's a big twist. This is the kind of twist you'd expect at the end of the film, but they're going to drop it in the first third. And obviously, we're not going to go into spoilers. We're not going to do a spoiler review yet. Obviously, maybe on the release we may, because there's a lot to say. But I think the one thing that kind of gripped me with this was that it genuinely reminded me of a game of Cluedo, not just because of the whole, it could have been anyone with anything, anywhere. It's the fact that this is essentially set in the same location. Now, there are scenes where they are elsewhere. However, almost the entirety of this is set in this kind of old sort of grandiose sort of mansion that you would see on a game of Cluedo. You've got the library, you've got the kitchen, the dining room, the fireplaces, all that kind of murder mystery stuff.
There are hidden doors. Everyone's got a secret. No one's being honest to each other. And I'll be honest, the one character that kind of ties this all together with an absolutely amazing performance, I absolutely loved him in it. Daniel Craig as, what was it, DSI, KFC, or whatever he was nicknamed during the film, as this kind of Western American kind of detective with a very kind of Kentucky accent and everything like that. He was just absolutely hilarious in every single scene, but he managed to obviously get all the information out of these people and kind of tie together the mysteries and everything like that. It was really just like the character who kind of held it all together.
Yeah, and I think the more interesting with this is that Daniel Craig comes in as, you know, obviously there's James Bond. Bond film got delayed, which allowed him to film this. Now this has come out. I said this to you yesterday if we saw it, that I could have imagined other people playing his role, but it's so kind of not Daniel Craig. It works. Like, you're expecting the rugged British detective, like obviously kind of Bond-esque, flipping his coin, but this was almost like a parody of the original sort of detectives back in the day, the over-exaggerated, pompous. His name's Benoit Blanc. And
Benoit Blanc.
Anytime he can say it or someone says it, it's so overemphasized, it's funny. And from whodunit mystery, this is very funny.
Yeah. All of the individual characters bring their own element to it. I know that's very much the case with all murder mystery films. Like you look at the ensemble cast, you can immediately go through them. Every single person has a different personality. They're all very well distinguished with that. Particularly Ana de Armas, who was absolutely fantastic in this film. And I'm glad that she's starting to get more films out. Obviously, she's going to be working on, she is the new Bond girl in No Time to Die as well. But she was absolutely excellent in Blade Runner 2049. I couldn't give her enough praise from that. And I can't give her enough praise from this film either. And I genuinely think that if any of the actors or anything like that is going to be up for awards from this film, it'll be her for supporting actress. I think she's got a very good shot at that.
I can see that. I think the beauty of an ensemble cast is when everyone is good in it. So obviously some are better than the others, but when you've got an incredible supporting cast on an ensemble and you get that, there's always one or two that can stand out above the rest. Now, Ana de Armas, I thought was fantastic. She kind of leads this film. A lot of people are talking about her. Damn right she should be up for supporting actress. Chris Evans, obviously everyone knows as Captain America. I think he's a very big marketing ploy for this, which is completely fine. However, in that original trailer, you know, this isn't Captain America because he's telling everyone to sort of eat shit. And he's kind of billed as the sort of the black sheep of the family. They say it from his opening moments. And I thought Chris Evans was great in this because, of course, you know, when you've been doing that franchise for 10 years, so many people can see, you know, oh, it's Captain America. He can give a speech. He can sound like Captain America. But this is him really going out there. It reminded me of sort of Scott Pilgrim versus the World, where as much as I love the Marvel films, that it's very hard to differentiate some of the actors from their roles. Obviously, we're going to talk about Marriage Story later on this week, but I thought that Chris Evans was great in this, and I'm very excited to see again. I mean, the same with Daniel Craig. Post their franchises, if these are the kind of films they want to do, the whimsical ones, I'm all for it. And I don't think there was a single weak thing in this cast. Some actors and actresses had a lot less scenes than the others, which is understandable. I think essentially the plot boils down to obviously Daniel Craig in the lead. The whole sort of family of 12 suspects kind of drops to like a 4, but you're still interested because it could be anyone. And I think, again, this comes down to Rian and his writing. What I also think as a director, you know, again, not to get on the Star Wars hype, but there was that documentary, if anyone saw it, that came out the last year, like Blu-ray, where he made a documentary about making the entire film from day one to the final day. Everyone loved working with him. Now, obviously, Mark Hamill had his struggles with the character, but he's never once criticized Rian Johnson as a director. And that's what I feel with this, that I can imagine on set with this great cast, they're probably is having as good a time reading the script, performing the script. If there's any improv, it's probably in there too. And I could just imagine that everything came together with this. And I think what kind of took this the next direction from the traditional whodunit was the fact that they went for the kind of the alternate timeline as well, You know, it's very easy to build up this guy that's going to be murdered, and you're going to understand before he dies why everyone wants to kill him. Now, this isn't a spoiler,
Yeah.
but the opening 1 minute is he's died, and then the film puts the puzzle together, and you start to think, is it him? Is it her? Who could it be?
But
I think
not only with that, there's a very nice kind of directorial style and writing style here where they show the truth and then almost tell the lie, which is fantastic because as the audience members, you always want to be knowing more than the characters. You've always got to be the one playing the detective. I mean, me and George, I don't think we spoke a single word throughout watching any of the other films. In this film, we would just like spitting ideas back at each other for who we thought was the murderer, what we thought where the plot was going, everything like that. It's a film that will create a conversation. It's a film that will hopefully not get spoiled because honestly, like every single part of this film should not be spoiled even slightly. But the fact that they kind of give you that, we're going to show you the truth, then tell you the lie. I haven't seen that done before in any kind of films at all, really, which is brilliant.
No. And I think what helped with this was it being set in modern day. It could play these, not the twist card, but you know, you could look at the pictures, the trailers, and whatever. You could imagine this being set in like the 30s, the 60s, the 80s, the 90s. But this is modern day today, and it plays up that because you do get the modernism that comes with this genre.
Yeah.
Because, you know, what was the last whodunit film that was set in modern day? You know, in Sherlock, maybe the TV series, kind of.
Yes, I'd say yeah.
But that was so modern. It wasn't that kind of balance. It could have been 20 years ago. This could have been any age. Obviously, people do have phones and language and whatnot. But
yeah.
I did think that the production design matched everything perfect. Yeah. To me, this is, I know I'm jumping ahead, but right now, this moment, I know, obviously, I've only seen this the once. This is currently my film of the year. Now, I almost said that a lot this week. It's been a truly great week, including Joker, which we will be getting a review out for this weekend. There's been a lot of very good films, but this to me stolen. I think what comes with it is the conversation. You know, people were queuing so early in the morning. Everyone wanted to get into this screening, and I think there's a certain lure to it of the cast, the director, and just the idea and the intrigue of it. Because we aren't getting films like this anymore, and I really hope we can get some more now. Without jumping into sort of sequel baiting, you know, Rian Johnson has said multiple times.
He said it, yeah, all the way down the carpet, like. When we were there, he was kept on saying, yes, I would love to do a sequel and everything like that. And I could easily see, based off this film, a Benoit Blanc series, basically, straight off the bat.
And I think what comes with it, I mean, it didn't even take long to film. I think this shot for like 5-6 weeks. You know, when Bond got rid of, apologies, I forgot his name, Danny Boyle. When Danny Boyle left and it got that gap enabled Daniel Craig to get hired and shoot this film in the space of about 2 months. And I thought that was great. I mean, it's been a very exciting film. The build-up to this was excellent. I think it had a payoff, and I think it's also worth mentioning the soundtrack too, because there is a score that when it appears, it righteously fits this. It could be from 100 years ago, but it works in modern day. It's a traditional sort of soundtrack with a modern twist to it.
Yeah, but usually with scores, you either have it in the background, it's usually meant to evoke emotion. This one immediately evokes kind of like mistrust and tension, and it's simply done. It's just high strings and kind of like really just intense, kind of overwhelmingly overpowering the scenes almost when it's used, and it immediately keeps you on the edge of your seat. It's really well done. I give it loads of credit for that.
Same here. Now, do you have any other thoughts before we kind of get to our final conclusion on it? Anything else? It's so hard to talk about it without.
It's so hard to talk about it. We get loads of ensemble cast films and everything like that, and we get loads of sequels and prequels and everything like that. And a lot of the time, it's just Hollywood trying to make a buck and everything like that, and it becomes kind of tasteless and everything like that. I think because I know there will be a lot of people out there who do have this kind of overwhelming, I'll say the word hatred for Rian Johnson for Last Jedi. I'm a person who didn't like The Last Jedi. Did not like that film. However, this film is just fantastic, just filmmaking. You can't really complain about it even slightly. I basically came out the cinema and said, I can't see a fault in this film. It's excellent. So, I mean, just like I've some kind of almost forgiven I can't remember his name now. The director of High Rise. Ben Wheatley, because I've seen Free Fire and I liked Free Fire, but I didn't like High Rise. I think people should give this film a chance instead of immediately just going and hating it from the off-get. This is just fantastic cinema, and we don't get it enough nowadays.
I think it's going to be very appealing to sort of all demographics. You have the traditional whodunit sort of 40s to 60s age group. I think there'll be, with this cast, a lot of younger people that watch it, especially, again, jumping back to Chris Evans. You know, he's got a fan base that will turn up. I think Rian Johnson's at a very niche point where, you know, he did every single interview on that red carpet. You don't see that often. He was trying to spend as much time as he could with fans. He's genuinely a lovely guy, and he has such a bidding reputation within the industry as well that's crediting him. I certainly think this could be up for multiple awards. Obviously, we'll know a lot nearer the time, January, February, but
it could be the surprise dark horse.
Yeah,
for Best Picture, I reckon. I reckon it'll be one of those on the outside for entry, which people go, do you know what? Maybe it'll make it.
I could see this being nominated for original script, original soundtrack, production design, supporting actress. I think they're right now the clear and obvious ones. But if this gets the reception I hope it does when it does come out in November, then it could be, you know, this could easily carry the box office up till Star Wars comes out in December. Because a lot of the Oscar films this year, people are forgetting they're coming out earlier or they're coming out later, because there is that window where no one's going to put a film out next to Star Wars. If you want an example of that, Hateful Eight was the answer 4 years ago.
Yeah.
The film came out the same week and Tarantino blamed Star Wars. So personally, that's everything I have to say on this spoiler-free version of our review of Knives Out.
Same.
What I'm going to do, I'm going to reveal tomorrow. We're going to be going live with a review for The Lighthouse, another London Film Festival that Tayte was able to see that I unfortunately couldn't get into. Very jealous of that. If you want some more info on The Lighthouse, check out our interview with Willem Dafoe and Robert Eggers. That's already on our channel, on our London Film Festival playlist. We'll have myself or Chris joining you for that tomorrow to ask you some questions about it. I'm very forward to seeing when it comes out in some, unfortunately, February time. In the meantime, if you want to follow more of us, check us out on our social medias at facebook.com/cinemasavvy, on Twitter at cinema_savvy, and on Instagram at cinema_savvy. So thank you all for joining us for watching, and we will be back tomorrow, as I said, with a review of The Lighthouse. Thank you.